Hello and welcome to the Comic Cave. I'm Ramsey, aka Captain Away, and we're down to our last two World of Flashpoint collections, with today's topic being World of Flashpoint featuring Superman. Before we kick this off, just a quick reminder that you can click up here in order to watch the first video in this series, which are all about the various tie-in collections to the main Flashpoint event from DC Comics back in 2011. This collection is probably the most mixed bag out of all of them, not only in how much they tie into the main series, but also in the types of stories, and the fact that this is the only collection in the bunch to feature a comic that was still running at the time instead of just ones created for this event. So let's see how that goes and take this away. The first story here is written by New 52 Batman scribe Scott Snyder and is about Project Superman. It follows the military's early attempts to create a Superman from a soldier called Subject Zero by giving him DNA from an unspecified alien source. However, he begins to grow monstrous looking and gets a bit out of control, so the military begins to fear him and they lock him away, all but forgetting about him. Luckily, Superman crashes to Earth in his baby ship and they begin working with him instead, attempting to train him up to be a soldier in some segments interestingly reminiscent of X-23's life, including letting him play with Krypto for a while. General Lane comes to think of Kal, as they believe his name to be, as a son, an interesting twist seeing as the character hates Superman in the normal universe. But Subject Zero learns to watch Kal and whisper dangerous ideology into his ear from a distance. At one point, Lionel Luthor visits the facility with his son Lex, and Subject Zero somehow manages to mutate Krypto so he attacks the visitors, with Lionel willfully sacrificing Lex to the Superdog. Wow. Being an evil D-bag runs in the family, I guess. The military kills the poor super pup cause they're bad men, and upset by this, Kal obeys Zero's directives to free him. Zero starts killing everyone in the base, but before he can kill Lois and Kal, General Lane saves his adopted son and real daughter by pulling himself and Zero into the Phantom Zone. 20 years later, after Batman and Flash free Kal, Zero manages to escape the Phantom Zone and immediately kills General Lane, meaning he couldn't have been alive to send Shreve after Frankenstein's gang in their story. I would say that's a different General Lane, but we see Medusa working for Lane in that story and in this one, which seems to suggest that they are the same General Lane. But this also conflicts with the main series where they say General Lane wants Subject 1 alive. But according to this comic, General Lane wasn't in charge at the time. General Nathaniel Adam, our normal universe Captain Atom, was. So, yeah, I don't know. We also see here that Zero's alien DNA came from Doomsday when he goes to steal more power from Doomsday's corpse. So I guess that means he wasn't the one in the third rocket they mentioned in the main story like I thought. After Superman leaves the heroes in the main story, he apparently goes to rescue Lois from the fate she seemed to be about to meet at the end of her story, only to endanger her again when Zero comes looking for them. The two Supermen fight, and Superman finishes Zero off with a big Kamehameha that accidentally kills Lois too. Well, shit. So he saved her only for her to die like 10 minutes later? Lame. The next story is about teenage witch Tracy 13, who was living in Paris when Aquaman flooded it. She managed to warp herself and her father out of there, but not the rest of the family. That sucks. She also learns that her father is a supervillain who, with the help of a group of people called Hive, has built a satellite with a freaking laser beam that they plan to use to kill over 100 million people in the name of stopping the war. That also sucks. To stop him, Tracy goes about trying to recruit other heroes comprised of familiar faces for the DC fans. Most notable, in my opinion, is Natasha Irons, who in the normal universe at this point was dating Tracy, and Jason Todd, better known as the Red Hood, though in this universe, his hood is of the priestly variety. Wait, so you mean if he didn't meet Batman, he would have become a priest? That really sucks. Unfortunately, none of these people are actually willing to help her, so Tracy has to return home alone, only to discover that her father is also using black magic. And they have a big magic fight. But she manages to finally appeal to his good nature and convince him that what he's doing is wrong, and they end up both expending all their magical energy to save the world and each other. Aw, how sweet. Except we do learn that this world still kinda ends after this, so that still sucks. Oh well. Moving on, we get the 5 issues of Booster Gold tie-ins. For those who don't know, Booster Gold is kind of a regular guy from the far future who stole a bunch of future tech and traveled back to a time when that future tech could make him a superhero. This story sees Booster Gold finding a chalkboard full of Flashpoint spoilers before a blinding flash of light sends him into the Flashpoint timeline, where General Atom from the Superman Project mistakes him for an Atlantean and attempts to kill him, primarily by sending Doomsday after him. Oh shit. Booster met Doomsday when the monster first appeared in the Death of Superman storyline, where he was nearly killed by the War Machine. He even inadvertently named it there, though he was intending the name as more of a description. Here, Doomsday isn't awake, but instead the military has managed to create a helmet to essentially pilot him like a drone. During their fight, they accidentally invade the home of young billionaire heiress, Alexandra Giannopoulos. Well, she might be pretty Americanized, so maybe it's just Giannopoulos. I don't know. Given her ability to pick up the powers of other people, I would guess she is some kind of Flashpoint version of Parasite. Though Booster is attempting to rescue her from Doomsday, she ends up joining the fight thanks to her powers. While her interference does lead to a brief time when Doomsday loses control and starts a rampage, Booster is able to end it by getting the helmet back on the monster, though Adams still just accuses him of being the villain here and captures him. While Booster attempts to talk some sense into the military, an image of Superman comes up on the screen, as apparently we're past the point now of him having escaped, and Doomsday starts to wake up in response. Alex manages to save the day though by using the mind control helmet to force Doomsday to stab himself in his chest with his own bone claws and rip his own body open. Whoa, gruesome AF. Also, I guess that explains why he's dead in the Superman story earlier. You can even see the slash marks in his chest. Nice consistency for once in these stories. Booster realizes being a time traveler is what allowed him to not be affected by the time stream changes, and meets up with Flash to borrow some of his chronal energy to travel back to the normal world. He tries to bring Alex with him, but fails, and she falls through the time stream until, as a ghost, she ends up back at the start of the comic, writing all of the spoilers on the chalkboard. Which doesn't really explain a whole lot, but moving on. The last story of this collection is about the Canterbury Cricket. Taking a break with his fellow resistance members from killing Amazons, he recounts the tale of how he used to be a handsome young man who stole from churches and walked around brash and arrogant. When the Amazons attacked England, he even sacrificed some woman he was pretty sure was into him just to get away. Through some miracle of forgiveness, he's mutated into a giant cricket and decides to be a superhero. That's not really how that works though. Guys don't get to be superheroes just because they show up and say they are one, especially after being such a terrible person. And on that low note, we end our next to last collection. Be sure to stick around tomorrow for the final collection in the series and the breakdown of the full series. Hope to see you for that, right here in the Comic Cave.